one I was really, really looking forward to speaking to you.
Yay. I'm so excited to see you, huge fan. I've
Mhm.
always loved your work since That Guy and beyond.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful to see you growing in the way that you are, especially because it's hard out here for actors. I'm curious about how you feel about your own trajectory so far now in this Apple TV series.
I feel like there's a void in the space, and I'm here to fill that void. I'm cut from the Sidney Poitiers, the Harry Belafontes, the Clark Gables, the James Dean, all the greats. And I think we're looking for someone to fill that space. Not that other people can exist in that space, but God has gifted me with great talent, and I'm willing and able and ready to share it with the world.
Yeah, and you do it really well. It's always so curious to me how people even end up in something that they are prolific in. Um,
Yes.
and I know that that was a chance meeting for you, but was it always something that you thought about, or even considered before you even touched down on That Guy? Did you ever think, I wonder if I could do the Denzel thing? Like, I wonder if
Yeah,
I
yeah,
could
yeah.
do That Guy.
Yeah. I was playing ball in college. And, then you realize you're not jumping out of the gym like Kobe or LeBron. And I remember meeting a guy, I'm studying pre-med, so I'm 3 years in pre-med. I want to be an infectious disease doctor. That's the
Oh,
goal, right?
wow.
And my dad spent 40 years in the government, and I call him one day and say, hey, Dad, I think I want to be an actor. I just met this guy at the Foot Locker. This when 50 Cent was hot. He had these G units. I went to go support. I meet this guy in Foot Locker. He's from Maryland. I'm from the DMV. He has the most whitest teeth I've ever seen. I asked him, how did you get your teeth so white? He said, Crest White Strips. I said, well, what do you do, brother? He says, I'm an actor. I said, I always wanted to try that. Well, you should come to this acting class I go to. Matter of fact, I'll pick you up. And I went to the class. It's $25. It's a Saturday. And I'm like, this is what I'm supposed to do. I call my dad, say, Dad, I want to be an actor. My dad said, I want to leave the pre-med alone and do the acting thing. He says, son, it doesn't surprise me. That's what I always wanted to do. I used to fall asleep in theaters when I was 6 years old. Here's a list of all the old actors that you need to watch. So really, it's my dad's gift operating in me.
I really love that. Like you're gonna be who you are gonna be. Like that's a whole it's so beautiful to see. I'm a believer, so I'm gonna say God.
Yeah,
But when
yeah,
you see those like whispers, those promises from God, like you may not see it in the moment, but
yeah.
looking back, that man that you had a chance meeting with, a conversation with, that kicked off, your acting career, and then to mention it to your dad, and then your dad to fall in line also as one of your angels. How does that feel knowing that this is like your path for real?
It feels like I cannot fail. The only time I will fail if I don't do what God has called me to do.
Hmm.
I believe there's a sin when you don't share your gifts with the world. That is the greatest sin, even though no sin is greater than the other. Since you Bible, we can talk Bible a little bit. But when you don't share what is inside of you,
That part.
that's the greatest deficit to humanity. If Martin Luther King does not say, I've been to the mountaintop, I know I might not make it there with you, but I have a dream, then we don't exist in this space that we exist in it now. So it's important for us to really go in and then let that come out.
I love that. I really do. I think it's so cool that you're able to like find yourself inside of this craft as well. Um,
Yes.
I'm curious because spoiler alert, you
Mm-hmm.
don't make it. Um, you
Mm-hmm.
don't make it in Constellation, which was,
Mm-hmm.
it hurt my feelings. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm curious because I don't know if you remember when Queen Latifah died, her character Cleo died in Set It Off. She had a
Mm-hmm.
clause put in her contract about no more death, no more dying on screen for her. Um,
Mm-hmm.
what does that feel like for you to know that that is something you have to do on screen, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like that? And then is that something that you would consider for yourself going forward?
Well, let me peel back the onion a little bit. Paul does not make it in one reality, but as you
Right.
keep watching, It unfolds in episode 106 in a different reality. Um,
Ooh,
yeah, so I mean, it's a ride. Constellation is a ride. It's a thriller. It's genre bending. It's a mysterious, and him meaning Paul and Numi character Joe have the same kind of story, just in a different reality. And so I'm excited for people to see, 106. As far as dying on screen, I think there's a part of us dying every day. I was once 40, now I'm 41.
right.
And so being in those moments, you feel it, and some people, they have, different things of they don't want to do on screen, or, don't want to be seen as. For me, I'm all about the artistry. What is the writer writing? What does the work require? And if it requires for me to die, then I'm gonna die the best that I can die. You know what I mean? Because that's just how it goes, And if you know anything about life, after death, there is life. When Paul dies in that one reality, he's alive in another reality. And so let's bring it to something very simple. Some things we have to die to in order to become our better selves. Maybe that's a relationship that we've been hanging on to for years that is not serving us anymore, that we have to die to that in order to embrace something new. Life is about letting go. It's
Mm.
not about always receiving. How quick can you let go is then you can receive something new. You can't give with a closed fist, and you cannot receive with a closed fist. So it's those type of little themes that he has put into the show.
I would love to know because, Black folks don't tend to show up a lot in
Mm-hmm.
the sci-fi space. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I know this one is like you said, it's genre bending, but
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the times we don't get to see ourselves in these type of space, shows or entertainment, things that are dealing with nature or science and things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm curious as to what made you even say, okay, let me see if I could be a part of this. Let me say yes to this.
Yeah, I think it just was on the trajectory and the path. I wanted to do a sci-fi. And when I'm selecting projects, I'm selecting them based on, is it an assignment for me there outside of acting? The
Hmm.
acting I can do in my sleep, but how am I touching people? I remember having a conversation with Oprah, and she was talking to me when she shook Nelson Mandela's hand. And I was like, what is this whole life thing about, Oprah? You've seen everybody, you interviewed everybody. And she said, Will, it's about what you deposit into the hearts of humanity. That's what keeps you legendary. That's what really matters. So every time that I can get on a screen, I'm thinking about what can I deposit into you? And that is in line with Joseph Cedar, the director of 106, and most of the episodes that I'm in, and Michelle and Oliver and Peter's writing. And as far as us seeing ourselves in that this space, we exist all around the world. But I think also we have to take the veil off of ourselves and say, yes, we do belong in these spaces. And if it's not being written, then we need to write it. If it's not being produced, then we need to produce it. But Apple products are shared all around the world, and they do a great job with diversity and getting it. And I applaud them for that, for having me in such a mega show as this. And I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, we are. We're excited to see you in it.
Yeah.
It's a really beautiful show. And that's my time. And I so appreciate chatting with you. I adore you, Mr. Catlett.
Thank you so much. This was one I was really, really looking forward to speaking to you.
Yay.
And I hope that we share something that we both can carry with us for a lifetime.
Oh, I will. I trust me. And I'll see you again, I'm sure.
Okay, love you.
Love you too, Will. Thank you.